Hey, welcome back, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the CallMeCarson situation. Now, this is a very serious situation, but the dynamics are ethically very challenging, and I feel like I can offer something to this conversation. There are multiple things that we need to go into, but first, I'm going to explain to you what's going on. I'm going to break it down. And I'm also going to explain to you why blaming the person that came out with the accusations, it's not good. Sit down, class is in session. Welcome to the Repzilla channel. Now, if you're completely unfamiliar with CallMeCarson, he's a YouTuber with over 3.22 million subscribers. He's been accused of grooming an underage fan. Now, these accusations first came out on Twitter from a user that goes by the name Sam. She TWs it by saying grooming and the P word. She states that she was groomed by Carson while she was still in high school. She was 17 years old at the time. Now, Carson was the age of 19 years old. So the age gap within itself is 17 to 19. It's realistically a 2-year age gap. Carson starts off by saying, "I'm scared. I want to talk to you for the wrong reasons." Now, that's obviously already not a good way to start off a conversation. He talks about how his brain is stimulated, and now every time he thinks of her, he does some things that we're personal things. We're not going to get into it. Saying when she's in the mood just to hit him up, talking about how they could have went on a date, and then when do you turn 18? And then he talks about having some type of fun on Snapchat. Now, this alludes to some not okay things, because you have to keep in mind that this girl is 17 years old. Carson, teenager himself, 19. But anyone under the age of 18, if you exchange inappropriate images at all, it's going to be against the law. That being said, yes, that means that if you have pictures of yourself under the age 18 explicitly, that's going to be against the law and considered not good material. He talks a lot about how scared he is of having these conversations with her, and this in itself shows me that he understands that there's obviously a power dynamic, and there's obviously something wrong with the way that he's coming across. He's coming across with conversations of a nature that he feels, this is what gets me, that he feels is wrong. Even lawyers agree, like, you should not have, even with the age gap being this way and them being both teenagers, lawyers still state that it's a weird and difficult area, and that you just should not have any type of relationship with somebody under the ages of 18 years old. I do think it's important to say that the age gap of 17 to 19 would not be considered the P word. It would not. I think it's really important to understand exactly what a P word is. Here's the definition. Read that, digest that. It's an attraction where an older adult or adolescent has a particular attraction towards a prepubescent child. 17 to 19 would not be considered this. In fact, the biggest concern of this situation, that being if there was inappropriate images exchanged or not. Twitter user Joko tweets, "I do not want any false narratives spread about this," and then posts a very, very important video.
"I'm not into kids, but I did trade with people under the age of 18, which is very bad. I was 19. That's all you need right there. That's Carson's profile. There you go. There's all the stuff for that. And then, if you go down to the very bottom, grooming the Carson situation, this tweet, he says, "This shit is absolutely disgusting. I figure guys will be seeing this sooner or later, but yeah, absolutely gross messages confirming that this is true."
There was a particular Drama Alert episode that came out with previous friends of Carson where they talked about how he had told them and that they had known that he had been talking to a girl that was under the age of 18 years old.
Well, I'm gonna stick to the facts here, which was that one day in March, he called me shortly before he told Travis. Everybody was up in LA, and he told most of them face to face, but he called me, and I picked up the phone, and he was basically like, "I have to tell you something," and then he told me that he did underage girls, and I think that he said that they were fans, and that was what I was told.
Did he tell you how old they were?
At the time, no.
They stated that they did not want to get involved in this situation, so they cut ties with Carson. The girl involved, Sam, says that she realized after watching Keemstar's interview that it was wrong to call Carson the P word. It was in the wrong context, but it still doesn't justify his actions. Now, we need to talk about if there was any grooming involved at all. The definition of grooming is The action of a P-word preparing a child for a meeting, especially via internet chat rooms, with the intent of some not good things. Now, this isn't specific to a P-word. It can be preparing anyone for a certain action. It doesn't even have to be someone that's under the age of 18. It can be a fully grown person that's being manipulated by somebody else. In this situation, it's very difficult to navigate this. I would say that there is a possibility that there could have been some type of grooming, but it could be a power dynamic influence. She was a fan. She was looking up to the person, so maybe she was doing specific actions just because she wanted to keep on talking to Carson. So for the sake of this video, let's say that she was groomed. There was obviously inappropriate conversations and exchanges with somebody under the ages of 18. While this could be stacked up to teenagers doing teenage things, these are not particular teenagers. It's a little bit different when Carson has such a big influence, because that's a big power dynamic. But we need to keep in mind the feelings of Sam. She obviously felt compelled to come out with her story because she felt some type of way. This way could have been like a mental struggle that she had deep within that resulted from this, and it was bad enough for her to feel like she wanted to keep this from happening to other people. That is a legitimate reason. I'm not going to fault her for coming out with her story. I think that she did the right thing by doing that, especially if she felt like she wanted to keep other young girls from going through this. You get into the gray area of also it's illegal in most areas if a person in a trusted position who has a large following is not supposed to engage in any type of relationship with someone under the age of 18. Does that bear anything in mind to this Carson situation, 19-year-old to 17-year-old? Maybe. And again, lawyers would have to look into that. It would be very, very dicey, very, very hard to determine things. It would take a lot of tact, a lot of look at this ethical dynamic. Sam's feelings about this situation are she doesn't want Carson to go to jail or be canceled. Now, this is also really dicey, too, because if there was any type of manipulation or any type of power dynamic used to pressure her, then a lot of times in situations, the person that was hurt begins to do this type of sympathizing with their abuser. Now, this is a very common thing in these types of situations, especially when Carson is saying that he wants to talk to her for the wrong reasons and that he knows it's wrong. So the argument of him creepy, absolutely 100%, this can't be argued with. He's definitely creepy. Is it the P word? Right now we don't have the evidence that suggests that. We just do not. Now, do we need to keep an eye on this guy? Do we need to talk about this? Do we need to bring this to light? Absolutely, because if he's done this with one girl, he may have done it with several others. This is why her story is very important. This is why she came out. This is why I agree with this, and why I think we all need to take this situation very serious. So anybody that is blaming Sam in any type way or fashion, stop it right there, because her coming out with her story was absolutely a good thing, because we don't know the full details of this situation or how deep this runs. Not too much longer after Sam came out with her story, I just heard late last night that a second girl has come forward. This is what I was afraid of. She goes by the name Copycat on Twitter, and in this situation, the age gap is even further. She was 17, just like Sam, but this time Carson was 20. Now you're going to see as this video progresses, this trends, this is commonplace and shows signs that Carson has done this on multiple occasions. Keemstar, host of popular YouTube channel Drama Alert, asked Copycat if there was in fact inappropriate images exchanged here, to which she verifies that this was the case. Slimesicle released a statement about the situation. Pause to read this. He says, targeting a minor for grooming and other inappropriate and unwanted advances is illegal. 100% true. And he also talks about a 2020 phone call where Carson told him that he did in fact exchange inappropriate images with this minor. He also said that he did report this as soon as he found out. There was a video that dropped last night. It was I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't seen it, but it changed my whole perspective on the situation and made me realize that Carson did utilize his mental health in this situation. He was telling his friends what he did. He was telling them that he was very depressed, he was in a bad mental state, which he could very well have been. But when you when you take your mental health and you use it to distort the reality of the situation, to lie to your friends, how could you ever be trusted again? This is a little bit of what his friend said.
But a few weeks ago, I started having some conversations with some of Carson's closest friends, including his former roommates. And in my discussions with them, I heard some things that suggested that Carson wasn't improving in the areas that he should have been. And he was showing signs of continuing some of his inappropriate behavior. And apparently this was happening while I was spending all this time trying to help him. And while he was saying that he was working on himself and that he was changing and that he hates the person he used to be. Also, seeing the DMs he exchanged with some of the girls that have come forward absolutely fucking disgusted me. Up until yesterday, I thought that all these encounters Carson had were very much, spur-of-the-moment mistakes that he regretted instantly. And that was very much the story that everybody was told. And knowing what we do now, it's simply just not the case. This was something he pursued. And dude, I'm shocked. I can no longer say with any confidence that I believe Carson's behavior has ever stopped. I can't take his word for it anymore.
So there's a lot of things confirmed here. One of the biggest ones being that there is more than one person that Carson was texting. And that's all that we know of. There could be a lot more. So specifically from what Carson said, and specifically from what she said, there 100% was an exchanging of inappropriate images, which that's prison time. So my final thoughts on this are this. CallMeCarson very irresponsibly used his platform to do some not good things. And once you cross that threshold, once you use your platform in this manner, I don't think that you should be able to use your platform any longer. Don't forget to put Positivity Turtles in chat, and if you want to reach out to me, go follow my Instagram. I'm trying to get to 15,000 followers. We're currently at like 14, very close to 15. And as interesting as this is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think, so why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes. As always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. I feel like I'm supposed to talk more after I say that. I'm switching and changing intros and outros, trying to get your guys' feedback on these things. This is how I would do my old outro. I would talk about things like this. I would tell you if you wanted to be a patron. I really appreciate all my patrons, especially for your continued ongoing support. We're almost at 100 patrons. We're at like 93. So if you want to become a patron, you want to support the stuff I do here on this channel, link will be in the pinned comment. Most of my sources are always going to be in the pinned comment. Follow me on Twitter because that's also a good thing to do. Yeah, just another way to show that you're repping your part, repping your Greg. And hey, do that. I gotta subscribe and notifications turn on. Be in the comment section after every single video because I'm gonna be there. Greg the Cat's gonna be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well. And I expect to see you there too because this channel loves you. Ain't nothing like kombucha is good, man. It is.